Welcome back to the channel. I do apologise, it has been many months. We have the Skoda back. We are getting on with the Skoda today. So I think back in December I put a community post up stating that we're taking the car to the body shop. They're going to let me dismantle the front, panel it up to make sure the panels go on correctly, and they'll start painting. I think that was a week before Christmas when I dropped it off. And then I think when they reopened, like the first week of January, I was then supposed to be going there to dismantle the front end. Fortunately, then I caught COVID. I'm all better now. I had it for about 9 days, and it took an additional 2 weeks to be my normal self. So during that time, because the car was booked into the body shop, they kind of stripped it, built it up and painted it. So it hasn't gone the way I wanted the video to go. But we have got to dismantle some of the stuff so you can see the car behind the panels, if you know what I'm trying to say. During that time, obviously, you know, the weather for the last few months, continuous wind and rain, and gets dark at night. As me and Pete, we do work permanent nights and working around the families to do these videos as it's a hobby for ourselves. So what I've been doing the last month or so, I've been doing some work on my Audi, which I'll just show you now. So this is what I've been up to recently. So I've done a front and rear complete suspension overhaul. So I've got BC Racing coilovers. I've installed genuine brand new hubs. If you don't know about these hubs on these Audis, the top pinch bolt are an absolute nightmare. So I just ordered 2 genuine hubs, left and right. They're not cheap. I think I paid £800 including VAT for the 2. Got wheel bearings, so new wheel bearings. All the arms, anti-roll bar links. And then after that I had an oil leak to do. I haven't used the car in a few months. So I found I had an oil leak from, as you can see here, some oil slung onto the bonnet. Basically, I've stripped down the middle of the V, found out the problem, it was the oil cooler. But to get to the oil cooler, you got to remove a fair amount of stuff. For example, the DPF, well, my car's got a downpipe, but the DPF will be situated here. You have your scuttle panel, all that I have to remove. Your high pressure fuel pump normally sits just here. So basically what was happening, the oil cooler normally situates around this area. And you got the oil filter that sits here, and then a PCV valve. So the oil's dripping down into this gap just here and dripping onto the alternator belt. And obviously that's slung it around the bonnet. So obviously I've had to remove quite a lot of parts just to get to this area. So whatever you remove, you've got to replace all the gaskets. So in a second I'll show you what I've got from Audi. Right, so here's some of the parts. I think I've got one more bag in the house. The only part that's not brand new here is this body, which is my original one. So that's been all cleaned up underneath. That has this black gasket that then situates on top here. You got one dowel and another dowel here, so you can't put it on wrong, and when you are bolting it up it will stay there. I've also got all the new bolts for that. They all get torqued up to 9 Newton meters. My car, this is the only thing that's not genuine. My car doesn't have it's not cam belt driven on the engine, it's timing chain. So I've got 4 chains on the back of the engine. The front, this belt is to drive the high pressure fuel pump, which this side, say like the left side, will go around the pump. The right side will go around the sprocket on the passenger camshaft. So that's a new one of them. I've also got a new alternator belt, as that's been contaminated with oil. So this body here, oil pressure switch, I was quite surprised. I think that was like £12 from, obviously from Audi. Torqued up to 20 Newton meters. This area the oil filter housing goes in. PCV valve, which whatever's in the middle of this V, because it's quite a big job, I thought I'm just replacing, because I'm never selling this car. New PCV valve, new oil cooler. The one thing that was most expensive for a little thing, for the oil cooler, you got 3 gaskets. You got one here and one here, which are exactly the same, and a larger one that goes around here. So these little ones, you don't get them as a pair, they come separate. I think retail, if I remember rightly, they're 25 plus VAT each. So it's basically like an O-ring with some little teeth on the edges. And all the rest of the stuff is whatever has been removed off the car to get to the bottom of the V. All the gaskets, whatever coolant hoses is in the V. So there's the new PCV valve. Some of these like little coolant hoses, all getting replaced. Whatever is in that V, I only want to do this job once. But yeah, I just thought I'd show you what I've been up to, and we'll get back onto the Skoda. So here's the Fabia, and this is the state we got the car back in from the body shop. So what I will be doing, we will be taking the front bumper off because we need to build it up with all the fog lights, grills, etc. Then I can show you behind the bumper. It's obviously had a new crash bar, front panel because they're plastic. So what the paint shop's done, obviously it was a brand new genuine wing bonnet. They've blended it in to the door, done a cracking job. The A-pillars as well. If you remember rightly, the bonnet did get pushed into the corner of the A-pillars. Passenger wing wasn't replaced, it just had one little mark where the headlight goes, literally just here. But paint wise, colour match is spot on. So I'll park up the car, get the camera set up, and then we'll start dismantling the front. There is one thing I totally forgot to order. So I bought a brand new condenser. I forgot to order a radiator. So basically I've just been to my local Euro car parts in Peterborough. They had one in stock. I've got it in a brand called Nissan's, which is a good company, and at a bargain price, £50.69. Luckily they had one in stock. So as you know, my Audi's been off the road. So I bought this banana car, a Mark 1 Leon FR 150 brakes. It's a 1.9 TDI. Put one of my private plates on it. But yeah, I'll be selling this once my Audi is back on the road. But it's a great little runner. So the only reason we bought a brand new radiator, I'll just quickly show on the AC condenser. You can clearly see there's visual damage. There's a hole just here. It's let out the AC gas. So when I turn this unit around, the radiator is situated behind the condenser. And then the rad fan sits on top just like this. When we took the fan off, we could see some visual damage to the back of the radiator. The fins all squashed. It was still holding antifreeze, but I said to Pete, let's just change this unit in case, you know, it restricts airflow getting through. And I do not want any problems for the new owner. So that's the brand new AC condenser, brand new radiator installed. It's obviously the original radiator fan. There was no damage to it. So basically what we did, as you can see, there is quite a big gap here. Normally you'd have to take the front panel back off to install the radiator, etc. So what we did, we took the radiator fan off, installed the AC condenser and rad. It's held in by a screw this side and one the other side of the front panel that goes into a rad mount. And then we put the fan on after. Normally, most cars, you won't be able to do that because there's quite a lot of space. So now we need to put some new seals on the AC pipes and then put them into the condenser, bolt them up, and then get the coolant bled up. So I just thought I'd quickly let you know, I am speaking over this clip as it was far too windy. But yet again, eBay was more expensive to buy 2 second-hand fog lights than buying 2 genuine brand new fog lights. So eBay was £80 to £100 per fog light, and I'm sure I paid at TPS, it was either £60 or £66 each, including VAT. So what I've got in this box, I've got a new retaining bracket for the front radar sensor. The radar didn't get damaged, but the bracket that bolts onto the front crash bar did. I've also got the front fascia plate for the radar sensor, and also a brand new lower bumper grille. And I've also got the little grille that goes in between the bumper, lower grille, and the fog light. One side was still okay, but one side was damaged. I had to buy a replacement Skoda emblem for the bonnet, as the body shop tried to remove the original on the original bonnet, but it broke. So I guess it's just a one-time unit basically. They're not too dear, so it don't really matter. But I'll be putting the badge on. That'll be the last job of the car when the car's finished. What I have done off camera, I have now installed the AC pipes. So I'm going to get on time lapse now to build the bumper up. So we've got the car now filled up with coolant. We're just letting it bleed up. Luckily, these do self-bleed. So we've got the heater on full, but on a low speed. The left hose is nice and warm. The right one's still cold, as the thermostat hasn't opened yet. So the bumper is pretty much built now. You can see how windy it is. That's why I'm speaking over this clip. So all we need to do now is put the radar sensor fascia grille on the bottom lower grille and put the main grille on. So for the front radar, we've put the 3 plastic nuts that go on the back of this bracket, and now the radar's just here. It has a plastic trim that goes on front, and then the actual retaining bracket for the radar sensor will just push in. Right, that's that done. Right, so there's one job here I totally forgot about, which is the passenger side indicator in the wing mirror. There is no further damage to the wing mirror, just the indicator lens. So I've received a new one. I've already removed the glass. As you can see, there's no damage to it. This is a heated element one. So to take the wing mirror cover off on these little Fabias, you've got 2 little plastic prongs, one here and one here. You can use a pry tool if you finger, or you can do it with your fingers. Push them down, and this cover pulls towards you. There is no further clips on this, so it's just 2 clips. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get on the tripod, get the cover off, and swap the indicator over. So me and Pete, we've just fitted the headlights. We did it off camera because the adjustment, I'll just show you now. You have got adjustment on these screws just here, the top one and one at the back. So the headlights all working. That's the daytime running LEDs all on. What needs putting on now before the bumper? We've got the air guides that go on the side of the front panel. They're new, they're quite cheap. I think they're about £6 each. And then this foam goes onto the crash bar, new again. So we'll get them installed now, and then we'll get the bumper on. So that's both the air guides now installed. So the driver's one and the passenger. The new foam that goes in front of the crash bar. So all we need to do now for the front end, get the bumper on. Obviously that wiring harness dangling here is for the fog light. There is one for the passenger side as well. So we're going to get the front bumper now bolted on. So that's the bumper now fully installed. So what we need to do now, I need to get the car and axle stands on the front so I can get the wheels off to put the front arch liners in. And then after that, the car needs a serious clean inside and out, an oil change, an MOT, and I need to get the AC refilled as it's had a new condenser. So I'm going to get on time lapse now. Right, starting to chuck it down. I need to get this car finished because I've got actually a subscriber wanting to come and view the car. So I'm going to do it off camera, just putting the arch liners in. At least we've got the bumper on camera. It is absolutely chucking it down now. So I've brought the Fabia to my house because I need to do an oil change, needs cleaning inside and out. I got an MOT this morning. My car also is now finished. You probably see at the beginning of the video. Done the suspension, then I had that oil leak, so the middle of the V6 was taken apart. I'll quickly show you now and then do a cold start. So I've done about 350 miles in it now. It's all built back together. Finally, no oil leaks. Right, you might have seen some of these marks on the driver's front wheel. I've got some Angel Wax medium compound. Got it on a microfiber cloth. I'm just doing it by hand. And literally, might take a while because you're doing it by hand, but it is coming off. It's just, I would say it's tyre transfer, but I just thought I'd show you on the video how I've got that off the wheel. Bit of elbow grease and that mark's now off the wheel. So I'm just hoovering the interior of the Fabia. My youngest come to have a look. Jensen. Yeah. You gonna help Daddy clean the red car? No. Not in your mouth. Hey, cheeky. So the Skoda's having its first MOT because it had an accident before the first MOT was due. So I think it was due end of November 2021. So obviously then got in the accident. We've now rebuilt it. Just thought I'd show you because there is a few comments, does Copart damage the cars when they use the forklift to move them about? There is no damage on this at all. So hopefully it should pass, no advisories. We'll see what happens. So the Skoda's passed its MOT with no advisories. It had 9,755 miles. Thanks again to Euro Car Care, that's where I take my cars for their MOTs. So I've got a few last jobs to do to the car. As you can see, it hasn't got the bonnet badge. So I've got a genuine brand new one just here. I'm gonna get that onto the car now. Tomorrow morning, I've got the aircon regas getting done. This does have the newer gas, so it is slightly more money. I think it's just over £100. I don't really know anybody who does aircon gas, so I just ring up local companies if they've got any space. So I'm going to get this badge on now. So just before I put the new badge on, I have now taxed the car. It's all insured, MOT'd, which means I can put some miles on the car. As I previously stated, I have had a subscriber message me from day one about the car, and he's coming to view it tomorrow. So I'm going to get some miles on it tonight, get the aircon regas done in the morning, just put a few more miles before he comes, so then I know it is happy to go. Getting the AC refilled now, because obviously it had a new condenser, so it had nothing in it. So we're just having the front wheel alignment done on the Fabia. As when we were doing our test miles in the car, we noticed the front wheels, the tracking was slightly out, and there was no suspension damage on this car, but we don't know if it needed tracking before the accident. Right, so I am now draining the old oil, and also, if you can see, this is a genuine oil filter that was on the car because it was last serviced at Skoda. I have loosened this one off, so once that's drained out there, I'll then take this off. So I've got the original oil filter off the car now. If you can see this part number, 04E115561H for hotel. This is the same part number. If you're thinking, why is that a Volkswagen box? If you didn't know, obviously Skoda is part of the VAG group, Volkswagen Audi group. So that's why it will say Volkswagen on the oil filter. And because this oil filter is not situated underneath, it's on the front of the engine, I will not pre-fill this. I will just, bit of new engine oil, just lube up the sill. So I'm going to get this on now. I've got a new sump plug that needs to be torqued up to 30 Newton meters, and then I'll get the oil in. So the only reason I'm using this measuring jug, if you just see where the oil goes in, you've got these little cutouts. From previous experience, your oil doesn't go down very quickly, which means it can overspill onto the rocker cover. So the car takes apparently 3.4 litres if you're not doing your oil filter, and 3.7 litres if you are doing your oil filter. So what I'm going to do, I'll fill it up with 3.4, I'll get it on the ground and do the checks. So I just wanted to do a big shout out to all the companies that's helped with the Fabia rebuild. So we've got Peterborough TPS that sorted out all the genuine parts for the car. We've got Classic Bodyworks who did the paintwork. Euro Car Care for the MOT. Auto Service Grabowski was who did the aircon regas. So not many companies I could see in Peterborough did the new gas. So that's the R1234, I think it's YF or something like that. They did that for me, and Apex Tyres for doing the front wheel alignment. So thank you very much everyone that's helped. So here's the little Fabia fully finished. You would have seen we had the MOT done, passed no advisories. Yet again, shout out to Euro Car Care where I go for my MOTs. Great work as always. So we've had the MOT done, I've done the oil change, had the AC regassed as it had a new condenser, and then when I've been doing the test miles on the car, I think I'd done about 150 miles so far, I noticed the tracking was slightly out. There was no suspension damage on this car, so for all we know, it might have had need tracking doing before the accident. So it cost me £20 for the front wheels to be done. I'd rather spend the £20 to make this car spot on. I've got my eldest son with me, Jonathan. You would have seen Jensen, my youngest, when I was cleaning the interior. So I've had Simon, one of my subscribers, come and view the car today. Today's Friday the 6th of May. He's messaged me from day one of the rebuild. He wanted to buy the car for his wife for her birthday present. Great husband. They're coming to pick up the car on Sunday, which will be the 8th of May. I'll put this video out as well on the 8th of May. So I'll just do a quick walk around. The car is spotless. You would expect it to be clean for a 9,000 mile car, but as you know, we have rebuilt this car. It looks exactly the same in person. Yeah, it's come out really nice, this little car. I really like this one. I'll quickly show the interior. So as you remember, we put a brand new genuine dashboard in this one. But yeah, it's spotless. Yes, it's a 68 plate, but with the low mileage, it still has that brand new car smell. So that's the end for today's video. If you did like, I know there wasn't many episodes on the rebuild of this car, but if you did like today's video and how the car now looks, smash that like button because it really does help with the channel. And also, if you are new to the channel and you're not subscribed, click the subscribe button and the bell icon so you get a notification when we upload a new video. So thank you everyone again for watching today's video. We'll see you next week with the new rebuild. Skoda gone to its new family, Simon and his wife, very nice people.